Yah, please fill me with the Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name, amen. We'll start with the Shema, listen and obey. Children of Yah, pay careful attention and respond. Yahweh is our power and authority. Yahweh works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yahweh with your power and authority, with your thoughts in mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Exodus 5 and 6. Then Moshe called to all Israel and said to them, Listen, Israel, to the laws and rulings which I am announcing in your hearing today, so that you will learn them, and take care to obey them. Yahweh our God made a covenant with us at Horeb. Yahweh did not make this covenant with our fathers, but with us, who are all here alive today. Yahweh spoke with you face to face from the fire on the mountain. At that time I stood between Yahweh and you in order to tell you what Yahweh was saying, because on account of the fire you were afraid and wouldn't go up onto the mountain. He said, Aleph, I am Yod-Heh Vod-Heh, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, where you lived as slaves. Bet. You are to have no other gods before me. You are not to make yourself the carved image or any kind of representation of anything in heaven above, or in earth beneath, or in the water below the shoreline. You are not to bow down to them or serve them. For I, Yahweh, your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sins of their parents, also to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but displaying grace to the 1,000th generation of those who love me and obey my mitzvot. Gimel. You are not to misuse the name of Yahweh your God, because Yahweh will not leave unpunished someone who misuses his name. Dalet. Observe the day of Shabbat, to set it apart as holy, as Yahweh your God ordered you to do. You have 6 days to labor and do all your work, but on the 7th day as a Shabbat for Yahweh your God. On you are not to work of any kind of work. Not you, not your son, not your daughter, not your male or female slave, not your ox, your donkey, or any of your other livestock, and not the foreigner staying with you inside the gates of your property, so that your male or female servants can rest, just as you do. You are to remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and Yahweh your God brought you out from there with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore, Yahweh your God has ordered you to keep the day of Shabbat. Chay. Honor your father and mother as Yahweh your God ordered you to do, so that you will live long and have things go well with you in the land Yahweh your God is giving you. Vav. Do not murder. Zayin. Do not commit adultery. Chet. Do not steal. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Chay, Vav, Tov. No. Tet. And do not give false witness against your neighbor. Yod. Do not covet your neighbor's wife. Do not covet your neighbor's house, his field, his male or female slave, his ox, his donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. These words of Yahweh spoke to your entire gathering at the mountain from fire, cloud, and thick mists, in a loud voice. Then it ceased. But he wrote them on 2 stone tablets which he gave me. Then you heard the voice coming out of the darkness as the mountain blazed with fire. You came to me, all the heads of your tribes and your leaders, and he said, Here, Yahweh our God has shown us his glory and his greatness. We have heard his voice coming from the fire. And we have seen today that God does speak with human beings as they stay alive. But why should we keep risking death? This great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of Yahweh our God anymore, we will die. For who is there of all humanity that has heard the voice of the living God speaking from the fire as we have, and stayed alive. You, go near and hear everything Yahweh our God says. Then you will tell us everything Yahweh our God says to you, and we will listen to it and do it. Yahweh heard what you were saying when you spoke to me, and Yahweh said to me, I have heard what this people has said when speaking to you, and everything they said is good. Oh, how I wish their hearts would stay like this always, that they would fear me and obey my mitzvot, so that it would go well with them and their children forever. Go, tell them to return to their tents, but you stand here by me, and I will tell you all the mitzvot, laws, and rulings which you are to teach them, so that they can obey them in the land I am giving them as their possession. Therefore you are to be careful to do as Yahweh your God has ordered you. You are not to deviate either to the right or to the left. You are to follow the entire way which Yahweh your God has ordered you, so that you will live. Things will go well with you. You will live long in the land you are about to possess. Now this is the mitzvah, the laws and the rulings which Yahweh your God ordered me to teach you, for you to obey in the land you are crossing over to possess, so that you will fear Yahweh your God and observe all his regulations and mitzvot that I am giving you, your child, and your grandchild, as long as you live, and so that you will have long life. Therefore listen, Israel, and take care to obey, so that things will go well with you, and so that you will increase greatly, as Yahweh the God of our ancestors promised you by giving you a land flowing with milk and honey. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Hear Israel, Yahweh God, Yahweh is one. You are to love Yahweh your God with all your heart and with all your being, with all your resources. These words which I am ordering you today are to be on your heart, and you are to teach them carefully to your children. You are to talk with them when you sit at home, when we are traveling on the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. Tie them on the hand as a sign, and put them at the front of your headband around your forehead. Write them on the door frames of your house and on your gates. When Yahweh your God has brought you into the land he swore to your ancestors Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, that he would give you cities great and prosperous, which you didn't build, houses full of all sorts of good things, which you did not fill, water cisterns dug out, which you did not dig, vineyards and all the trees which you did not plant, and you have eaten your fill. Then be careful not to forget Yahweh, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, where you lived as slaves. You are to fear Yahweh your God, serve him, and swear by his name. You are not to follow other gods chosen from the gods of the peoples around you, because Yahweh your God, who is here with you, is a jealous God. If you do, the anger of Yahweh your God will flare up against you, and he will destroy you from the face of the earth. Do not put Yahweh your God to the test, as you tested him at Massah, testing. Observe diligently the mitzvot of Yahweh your God, and his instructions and the laws which he has given you. You are to do what is right and good in the sight of Yahweh, so that things will go well with you, and you will enter and possess the good land that Yahweh swore to your ancestors, expelling all your enemies ahead of you, as Yahweh said. Someday your child will ask you, what is the meaning of the instruction, laws, and rulings which Yahweh our God has laid down for you? Then you will tell your child, we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, and Yahweh brought us out of Egypt with a strong hand. Yahweh worked great and terrible signs, wonders against Egypt, Pharaoh and all his household, before our very eyes. He brought us out from there in order to bring us to the land he has swore to our ancestors that he would give us. Yahweh ordered us to observe all these laws, to fear Yahweh our God, always for our own good, so that he might keep us alive as we are today. It will be righteousness for us if we are careful to obey all these mitzvot before Yahweh our God, just as he ordered us to do. End with the Aaronic blessing. Yahweh will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yahweh will illuminate the wholeness of his being toward you, bringing order, and he will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahweh will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you and will set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Shabbat Shalom.